Hello, everybody. I hope the sound is good. How y'all doing? Anyway, I planned this live on Gaza before the plan on Gaza was announced. And I was supposed to be here with my friend, Michelle, but she is sick. So I'm here with you alone. I thought I would go up. Anyway, I really wanted it to be together. I'm probably reschedule and do something similar next week so that everything I tell you would be, you're going to have another perspective, another side of the same stories. And we wanted to talk about our experience with the press when we went to the distribution center in the south of Gaza. I mean, it's not really Gaza, it's Kerem Shalom. It's on the south. But yeah, it's very exciting. It's very exciting. I am so curious about everything that had unfolded to bring us here, so that America had brought this very interesting proposal, which Hamas is conveniently still thinking about whether to accept it or not. And tomorrow is Yom Kippur, and they have about, I think, 70 hours since it was announced. So, I don't know, 48 hours. So maybe we, the people of Israel, we discover together when we open our phones in the end of Yom Kippur what's up. I am curious, what do you guys think about the plan, the agreement? That there are a lot of Israelis that are very skeptical about it. There are a lot of people who say it's another Oslo, so it's a bad idea. Didn't we learn? What did we fight for? How, everything is super logical. And then there are those who, trust the leaders. Maybe they know what they're doing this time. Wait, did I not see any happy comments? I mean, I think a lot of people here are skeptical. The people here are skeptical, but when I went on Ariel's Whitman podcast, the Western Spirit, he asked me what I think about the Gaza plan and the, cooperation with the Americans and the Trump taking over plan. And I said, honestly, the thing is that unless you understand and are willing to do what it takes and what is required to really, really remove the danger out of Gaza, then it's all a waste of time anyway. And for that to happen, the Israelis in general, the Israeli public, needs to go through a spiritual process. So it takes time. It takes time because in the end of the day, it's something that the people need to digest and understand and breathe in and understand the real consequences and the real life catastrophe that is the brains of Gazans. But maybe by bringing in some foreigners, the lesson of who they are could be shared, right? It's one thing to experience evil and another thing to just see and hear of it. So some person here, honestly, at this point, I'm waiting for a more right to government to arise in Israel. There is no, you cannot tie the wheels before the horses. In the end of the day, there are people that need to do something, and those people need to be ready to do the something they have to do. And it's not a one-day process. It's not that a leader would arise and say, I know the answers, and not even if God would appear in front of us and tell us what we have to do, that the Israelites, the Israelis would have the spirit and the resolve to do what needs to be done. And at the end of the day, it's the decision of the people. Nothing stopped the Israelites except their own psychology. So this is the reality we're facing. And this is something I really think is important to understand. If you cannot learn a lesson, then you'd have to learn the same lesson again and again and again. But but now I think that, it's people need time. People need time. And it's not that they don't understand, they do, but it doesn't make it easy. And just because it sounds like, okay, now that we know what's the right thing to do, now that we understand the complexities, doesn't mean that people can do the right thing yet. It's a process. It takes time. It's very hard. And it's also good to be fair and give them a chance, before you make a final decision. I hope you appreciate my wording here. So I hope, by the way, I'm looking at do you have any, so what would you guys want to hear more about? Would you like to talk about the proposal, the spirit of things, what's been talked about on Twitter and X? Or would you more like to hear some stories from the press in Gaza? Honestly, I really was planning to do it with my friend, and because she's sick, I only heard it like an hour ago. It kind of changed my plans for this live. And I thought maybe I'd cancel it, but then I was like, you know what? A lot of people are waiting. Yeah, the souk, the press story. All right, you guys want the press story? Amen. Yeah, I talked to her. She does sound sick. So I was really looking forward to do it together with her. I'm not gonna lie. We had so much fun talking to the press there. Do I agree with the proposal? I think it's just another step towards the higher truth, That's what I think. Do I agree? It's not like do I agree or disagree. It's more of yeah, but we're supposed to release 250 prisoners. Yeah, it's insanity. With blood on their hands. Are they live now with AP? What do you mean, do I want it? The proposal? I want the world to be pretty and beautiful, and that the rain would come. I don't know, I feel like it should be raining a little bit more already. There are a lot of things I want, but you also need to understand reality on the ground. That's what I think. And I do appreciate the fact that it turned the international community around. By the way, one thing I've heard is that, people talking about how Netanyahu called Qatar to apologize. And people have a lot of emotions about it. Well, apparently, so in that conversation where Netanyahu apologized to Qatar, he apologized for killing a Qatari citizen. So this is what the apology was for. Sounds like, from what I've heard, that he didn't apologize for striking Qatar, but apologized because a Qatari citizen was killed, which puts things in a different perspective. And I think the reason we managed to get that, I don't know, I feel like maybe behind the scenes, finally Trump snapped and he was like, Qatar, if you don't do it, I take over. That is definitely not how Trump talks, but you guys get it. All right, you know what we're gonna do? Let's see how Gazans reacted, because this is always funny. So the truth is that the Gazans are very tired. The apology is still wrong. Qatar itself is responsible for the death of the civilians due to their sponsorship of Hamas. Oh, 100%. 100%. Don't work as a bodyguard for terrorists, especially not the heads of Hamas. All right, everybody. Everybody who has Apple, go to Apple Store and download the Bible Way app and subscribe to the yearly program and write down the promo code Rebecca and I love you, Hila, so that you could learn about the New Testament and the Old One. Yes, use code Rebecca. Thank you. Go download this app. And there is a question from the crowd that I get every other day, girl. When would it be available on Android? Do I have any videos to show? Yes, I do. I'm going to show now. Let me start with that. And let me pray that the censor already checked my videos. And the reason they didn't return to me with any comments is because there are no issues with my videos. Because basically, the problem is if you can see any soldiers. But yeah, I'll start with this one where I bash the journalists. No, this is this one. I think it's this one. Okay, so Hila. Sorry. Hila is saying that the app in the Android version would be ready in 2 months, ? So in 2 months, we will have that. All right. I'm going to tell you now, it's unedited. I have no idea what you're going to see here. So be ready for a lot of weirdness. And really, I hope there are no soldiers in the background. A mistake. Okay. By the way, I have to say that the sun that day was brutal. And I quickly realized that this helmet is very effective against the sun. Because it was like, and people were, before we entered, like walked around with the helmet in their hand. And I was like, you guys, you don't understand. The sun, the way it was hitting my brain without the helmet, I didn't like it. So I was like, it's better to wear the helmet. Though I looked funny. So for the record, it was more of a sun protection most of the time. And because they didn't let us like in, it was the day where they started the ground operation into Gaza City. So I hope they would let us in, right? Not just the distribution centers, but I was disappointed. I got footage from other people who sent me footage from inside, but I don't think I can show it to you because they just entered. So apparently they don't guard. Of course they don't. Of course they don't do their job properly. Anyway, apparently Israelis can enter and just go around and in Gaza all the time. And like a lot of people just do it. A lot of Israelis, just civilians just entered for fun. Because, I think you'd understand more that the Israeli army is basically a lot of kids running around. So, yeah, this is how it looks like in real life. There are consequences. So I talked a lot, but I figured I didn't actually hit play. Anyway, this is the distribution center. They come here. This everything, all the aid here has been checked to say that it's purely aid, that is food. I mean, can food explode? Probably, but not as effective as some other things, so should be fine. Anyway, I've been thinking we should go if they let us. Then now there is an explanation of how the distribution process is done. Here he said that UN organizations are picking up the aid from here, so we are in Kerem Shalom right now. And to me, honestly, it sounds like a code saying, hey, Hamas picks up the aid from here. This is what I hear when I hear UN, but whatever. Anyway, if there's something the Gazans and I have in common is that we both live off international aid, and maybe I should have anticipated that actually entering Gaza would take way longer. So I'm hungry now, not gonna lie. So all I can think of is like, why do they get food? I want food. I wonder if there's something I can grab and just eat right now. Sorry, hungry Rebecca is not the most logical Rebecca. Yeah, maybe it says something important. I'm gonna go back and listen. Do you guys see the video, right? Is the sound all right? Oh my God. Yeah. I was hungry in the food distribution center and I was debating. I was like, there are so many foreign, like they were looking at us because I was basically the only Israeli there. So they were looking at me, right, to catch me. And one of the reporters, the one that was French, he pretended to be right wing. And the one that he was handling and like organizing his trip in Israel at some point. So apparently, like the press that he works for is relatively pro-Israel, but the guy that arranged, his tour in Israel, he said like, so I got a message. Apparently, it took him a really, really long time because this guy is a professional. It took him a really, really long time to get out of him what his real political opinions were. And apparently, he was like a radical, raging leftist. And he had mics on him all the time so that he could, and he tried to trip us to saying something that would be outrageous. So we could say, like, oh, here's this, what the Israeli influencers are saying, which is basically me. I was the only Israeli, like just Israeli influencer there. And my friend Michelle she made Aliyah, but it's recent. So you could say she's like an American. So I was like wondering like, okay, what if they film me and they spin it around somehow? And then I was like, you know what? I think I'll tell you, you know what? Let me show you the next video and hope it's not gonna get me in trouble. Sorry. Okay, the next video. Oh, it's fun watching it. I guess the stories that, like the biggest story that I would love to tell you when Michelle is here is our interactions with the Dutch. The Dutch were amazingly idiotic. But yeah, maybe I'll save that story for when she comes. So people are asking. Wait, I want. Shana, thank you for your support. Here is your international aid for food. Unfortunately, I can't end delivery here. Oh, thank you. Yes, thank you. Guys, I really do live out of an international aid, seriously. And they get way more. And it's not fair because they get way more for being terrorists. And I try to fight for Western civilization. And what do I get? I get to be jealous of their food. That's what I get. Yeah, I would reschedule the co-host for sure. I just thought like I just saw that a lot of people. It seemed like people were waiting for this live, but yeah. All right, so I'm gonna say many crazy Dutch here sounds plausible. I've been making a documentary on the Dutch, and I've been okay. So here's the thing, I don't know. Is there anyone Dutch in the crowd? Because I had so much bad things to say about the Dutch. I don't know how honest I should be in that quote unquote deep dive deep dive into the Dutch mentality that I made. Like I should like there are some things that I said there about the Dutch that is like really really mean, and I thought to myself, wow, if I say it maybe I would lose all my Dutch friends. All right, so okay, so you're Dutch. All right, so okay. It's unrelated, but before we dive in, I feel like the Dutch are the cheapest people on earth. So, and then I give a whole list of reasoning why. They're so cheap. So cheap, you know? Like, and then I made like a whole segment where I listed all the ways where how Dutch are cheap, and some of the ways are cruel, cruel, right? So I don't want. I don't know. Like, are you aware of that? Like, I honestly don't think people understand like how. Oh, I'm just digging my own grave while I just speaking about how I am trying to figure out if I'm gonna alienate all the Dutch. Oh. Um, Prices are very high here. What do you mean when they say cheap? Well, let's start with like the good old Holocaust. Well, unlike any other nation where Jews were, they got their train tickets for free to go to Auschwitz to get annihilated, the Dutch made them pay for the train ticket to Auschwitz. And then a lot of Jews, like for years after the war, didn't go back to Holland because they were forced to pay for the time that they weren't at home, and even though their apartments were confiscated by the authorities, they kept getting the bills, and also they turned into from owners to tenants, and they had to pay rent even though they were in Auschwitz at the same time. And my mom's cousin, she moved to the Netherlands. She talked about like she has Netherlands friends, and by the way, she's not Jewish technically. So I don't know if you guys know that, but one of the reasons I don't get too excited about like or too weirded out with let's say Christian anti-Semitic remarks is because some of my family members like they married Christians that are Christians. So I heard a lot of those claims when I was like the I'm just a question, why are the Jews like this and like that, from my Christian family members when I was a little girl. Anyway, so when she went she moved to the Netherlands, right? And when she hosts her friends, she would do it Russian style. So she is like, her mother is Russian and her dad is Jewish, and that's my mom's cousin. And she would just open up the table, and like people come and like take whatever food. And when she got hosted, first of all, they would tell her, you come from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. exactly, like you come in time, and they kick you out because like you're like there is a time frame, and then they give like a very small amount of portioned food that sometimes you even have to put your share of money into. And if you didn't grab your piece of olive when it was offered to you at time, then they take it back to the kitchen and they don't bring it back to you, right? So if you missed out on the time that the olives and each person gets exactly one olive kind of mentality are being shared, like then you don't get the olive even though it's your olive, and so on and so forth. And then there is a lot of money industry around Anne Frank that is disgusting. Can someone like, and I don't even remember all the examples I gave, but like I don't know, like the more, and then I have so many things there where, and the Dutch, they're awful. They really are awful. And by the way, it completely correlates with our experience with the Dutch press. They were so awful. I mean, and here's the fun, they're like the fun part, right? It's like it's fun talking to them, but underneath their shallow, fun to talk to personalities, and they gave us hug and everything in the end, and it was like all in good spirit. They were rotten to the core, as in like they don't know what's the difference between bad and good at all. Like they don't have a perception of evil or right. And I was like, and this is only the beginning. So I've have that on edit for some time. Bro, thank you on the press. Non-anti-Semitic press here is rare. I mean, I was beyond that. Like by the way, I really like, this conversation that I had with the Dutch was incredible, because I think I blew their minds because they're so ignorant. Anyway, the thing is that I asked them about the situation in Deutschland is Germany, sorry, in Holland, in the Netherlands, about all the rapes and everything that had happened and is happening to Dutch women there. And apparently it's all swept under the rug completely, like ignored. And like people who live there can tell of stories of that. And I asked him, like, well, how do you think it would look like when you start finally protecting your own people? And I said, like, because he was like, are you support the IDF? And I was like, when we were like, yes. And he was like, really? And I was like, something is wrong with you. And I said, like, have you seen the rapes? They are making sure we don't get raped. Literally. Anyway. Anyway, here's this. The more I looked into the Netherlands, the more I was like, you know, that's what I think. Same as UK? No. The Brits have some redeeming qualities. See, this is why I was like, okay, I think no Dutch person would ever want to watch me again. Because I just like, oh my God, the Dutch are awful. So please, some dude. I mean, there are exceptions everywhere, right? But it was kind of scary to realize, like, how proud they are about it. Yes, thank you. Have you seen the video Bibi shared with the QR on the UN speech? That's why we need the IDF. Yeah. No, I mean the Brits, like the working class, it's okay that you can talk to them. They're good. I don't know. The Dutch, something is wrong there. I don't know. I mean, the Brits are not perfect, but the Dutch, I just, I also don't speak Dutch. So please, Dutch people, maybe do something about my impressions of the Dutch people. Maybe you can bring something that would show me that there is some light in that tunnel and abyss that is the Dutch soul. Yeah. So that's what I really that's what I think. All right, let's hear what unedited Rebecca had mumbled around.
The other press people are asking quote unquote hard questions. The soldiers here, which we're not allowed to film. We're also not allowed to film, I think, the Gazans here that came to work. I don't know, maybe we are, but the quote-unquote hard questions are, they just, I don't know, I think they think those are difficult questions and that they're doing incredible investigative journalism work job. I'm not impressed. Look how much sugar. Aren't they worried about diabetes and stuff? So much sugar. Everything is sugar, sugar, sugar. So because they had a sugar craze lately, that they started bringing more sugar just to calm things down. And we're like, see, there is more sugar than you could ever consume. I think I see like, is it Pampers? I think it looks like.
It wasn't. It was only food.
I don't know. What are those things? I need to check. What's here to munch on? Am I asking for much? I just want to find some. I don't want to eat pure sugar. That's weird. I think this is flour.
I'm like thinking.
Some of it is spilled. Very unprofessional. Yeah, we can walk around. I don't know why they're stuck. This is flour. This is wheat. I don't know. I know what is bulldog? Let's see. Bulldog. Hot chicken flavor. That's ramen. Oh my god. This is all ramen. I want some. Can I get some? Oh, what is this? Pineapple. Nice. Okay, what's here? Oh, this is, it says in Hebrew, this is corn. I said they're getting,
This is so funny.
Is this? What is this? Is it like spam? Oh, here, you can see, it's like spam. And what else? More pineapple. I don't know how far I should go from these guys there. What are these important things? Guys. Oh, I guess I'm not the only one who wanted to snack on something. Look at that, looks yummy. This is fancy. Those are fancy snacks. Oh, you cannot see it.
I still have that. I didn't manage to finish that one.
Look,
I just didn't like
these
the
are fancy snacks. It's fancy. I want some. What's here? How's it open? Would I get punished if I steal some aid? Listen, we live off the same people, okay? Except they live off the wrong people. I live off you, which are the good people. There's fancy snacks here.
Oh my god! I was like,
I should have
eaten. I knew unedited me is risky.
Hungry. What else? What's here?
I have to think about just walking around talking to myself.
Come on, camera. I think what makes sense to actually use, like, do you think that you're like focusing on something that makes sense, camera, to focus on? I feel like you're not. Is it on? Hello? Is it me you're looking for? Ay, look at that, more sugar. What's here? So there are things here that are not sold in Israel. My guess is it's like obviously everything that has Hebrew in it, like those are pickles. You see the pickles, pickles, more pickles. Ah, they got a lot of stuff here. More impressive than my own. At home, kind of empty. This is what happens when you leave me alone. Nobody goes shopping. All right, can I? Do you think that they'd notice if I grab something and munch on? I don't know. I don't feel good about it, especially since I'm filming myself committing that kind of. Oh, maybe I'll do it outside of the camera. Who knows? I think that's corn. That's corn. This is corn. Hello, see? You can tell by what is on the ground. It's a corn. I like it's like a very interesting kind of supermarket, not gonna lie. Vegetable flavor. What is this thing? This is what is this vegetable flavor? Where is it from? So exotic. Not everything here is. Oh, here basmati rice. Oh, that's Hebrew. I guess that's. What is this? I don't know what that is. I mean, it says vegetable. Oh, maybe it's like. Oh, here. Somebody did it. Oh, it's another ramen. Something like ramen. Cool. Okay, I see. Basically, it's like every single guy pantry with some extras and no alcohol.
Wait, do not worry. There is more. There is more. Here. You guys enjoying this? It's so embarrassing. I'm like, what did I even say? Like I'm discovering with you guys. Here.
A BBB, Abu Shamsi, I think. What is this? Is this food? Is this tuna? What is it? This is tomato paste. Okay, we have tomato paste. What is this? What is this? Oh, more tomato paste. So maybe. Oh, here's the tuna. This is tuna.
Pound of tuna.
Amazing. See, you can just grab some. Why do they have it open like that? It's weird. Is it just because of journalists like me?
Now
That
that I
hungry?
think about it, it's probably because it was inspected. But I'm an idiot, so I didn't
No
figure
more
out
corn.
at the time. I was like, maybe someone was hungry.
More pickles. I think. Oh, this is a luxury. Come on, those are expensive. Like the peach stuff. You know, the peach. Ay,
I'm just walking around hungry, thinking
what
how
is this? Food.
miserable I
More
am that they
food.
have so much food and I don't.
Something. Listen, people are just grabbing stuff. I'm telling you. Is it because of? This is chili sauce. Very
100% just
important. You
inspection,
cannot
nothing
do
was
without
taken.
your red chili sauce. Wow, so much corn. More tomato. Oh, this is not. This is different. So they have like. So there are choices, right? So we had. These are like crushed tomatoes. These are like full tomatoes. This is more corn. What is this? Those are beans, I think. Looks like. Interesting. Oh yeah. What is this? What kind of beans are those? Olives. We got to the olives. Olives are also expensive. Come on. What is this? Okay. Uh, interesting. Interesting. Okay, you guys. Okay, fine. So much. There's so much. Oh, here. This one is also open. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I bet some journalists, they were naughty. Here, this is more ramen. Just ramen from all over the world. Like, they can do
By the
like
way,
for
like this is just so you know, there are also areas like full of like piles of vegetables and things like that. It's not only the only thing they get, right? This is just like they get there's like also like huge piles of vegetables, but not in that segment. So you'll see. I think I'll show you. Like you could drive and there's like it's not the only spot, right? There is like grounds and grounds and grounds that are like filled with food. Yeah, I know it's been investigated. I figured it out already now that I'm watching it. I didn't realize it when I was filming. The only thing I was thinking about is that I'm hungry. And that means I wasn't thinking.
like a mukbangs was like ramen from every country around the world. Jealous. I mean, I'm not jealous. I know their life is not the best right now, even though they 100% brought it to them, you know. But at least they get free food, which they don't really get because, oh my God, it's feta cheese outside? How does that work? Does it like, look, it's feta cheese. Huh. Is it like, does it have preservatives? What is this? What is this? Butter? I think that this is more pineapple. I'm tired. By the way, I didn't take anything. I'm just saying. I have a timid heart. We'll see. Maybe I'll feel sorry for them once we actually see their living conditions. And I'll be like, oh yeah, you know what? They can have all the ramen from all over the world and create content like that. You know? Maybe I like, oh, it doesn't matter how much they raped and murdered. It's okay. Like, I feel like they should at least have that little joy in life. I don't know. Maybe I'll find the passion and compassion in me. What is this? But right now I'm just a hungry person looking at a lot of food. That's where we're at. Okay. Do they not want us back? Skimmed milk. This is milk. I bet it just looks a lot, but in reality it's just like maybe only twice as many calories as they actually need to eat. So, you know, less than your typical mukbang.
I'm funny. I just like there are more videos, but I'm not sure what I'm doing there, so I'm kind of skeptical. Um, all right, let me go through your comments. Have I ever eaten pumpkin pie? No, never, actually. I don't think I've ever had pumpkin pie. I had a pecan pie. It's yummy. Thank you, Spooky Shona. Your tea, love. Thank you for this. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mehmet, Tekuglu. So cool. Thank you, Japister. Does the aid for all of the Gazan people have the argaliot, the one that makes all the Israeli commanders fat and slow and ineffective? Actually, I didn't see it, but there was a lot of stuff there, and there are a lot of like piles, like even farther away as well. So Spooky. Shana, love you. Well, according to Cadence, you can't be a Jewish Christian, so Messianic Jew, not Christian, apparently. Who are you talking about? My family members that are Christian? No, they're not Jewish. They're Christian. I mean, they're not family members. They were married into, you know. I mean, their kids are family members. Sugar, the new Israel war strategy. Yes. 100%. It's the slow. It's the slow death. I made that Agaliot super chat before unedited Rebecca, thinking that they were only sent bread and maybe meat, but they probably were sent some. Yeah, thank you. I didn't see Agaliot. Honestly, like at some point the Dutch came and started asking questions, so I didn't have time to continue shopping. And then I asked me what I think about it, and while I was munching on the ketchup, there is this snack, and there was the same thing, just the red one, and I was snacking on it, and I didn't like it. So the Dutch came and then they asked me, "Hey, what do you think?" And I said, like, honestly, by the way, Church Kirby, thank you so much for a super sticker, which I don't know how it looks like, but let me see. Let me see what you sent me. Where is it? I want to see what kind of a super sticker it is. It's what we do. I hope you guys like the chill vibe we're having today, because I was mentally prepared to be here with a friend and share stories, and then she got sick. So, yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. That's the reality of it. So it was welcome. Let me see. Okay, so it's that's like that with like coffee. Thank you. Anyway, and welcome to the club, sir. Thank you, George. Anyway. So yeah, so the Dutch came and while I was munching on and then they asked me what do I think, and I was like, honestly, like a ketchup flavor is not my favorite. And then they were like, not about the snack, about the situation here. And then I was like, don't you think it's and I said, like, I think it's incredible. Like, there is like there is food here from all over the world. And just think that this kind of operation would have been impossible 100 years ago. Like how much humanity had advanced in technology and in so many things that we can now send aid like that. And they were like, oh, really? And I was like, yes. But also, like, of course, here Gaza is relatively speaking a small area, and also like Israel is cooperating with the aid distribution. Unfortunately, even today, even though we had advanced that much as humanity, it's still hard to send that kind of humanitarian aid to Sudan and Syria and other places like Yemen that really need that help, and they don't get it because their circumstances are still are very complex, but I think that if the international community managed to pull this off, I think, like, isn't it incredible? Like, maybe they could pull it out and bring food to Yemen and other places that need it. And then they were like, oh yeah, so how does it make you feel looking at everything here? And I said, like, honestly, like, isn't it amazing the strength of the international community that they can work together and bring aid? Yeah. And then it continued, and I kind of want to tell you those stories when Michelle is here. So you guys gonna have to subscribe, push the ring notification thing, and wait for my live with Michelle, where we'll share the whole interview that we had with them. some dude, no Dutch journalist, talked to a Druze. That's how immoral propaganda is here in Holland. Well, I made sure to mention the Druze. Like I was like, and then every time they ask me questions, oh my god, maybe I'll tell you like a little bit. And then, but at the beginning they asked like, what do you think about traditional media? And then I said like that a lot of it is like very like their noses are like I did this. I was like your noses are up there and they cannot down to earth. And I said like and they say like what do you mean like and then I said like I didn't see anyone going around showing the food, seeing what people are getting and being interested in that like aspect of daily day life and things like that. All I can say is like, oh, it's less than what we have in the Dutch supermarket. The choices here, like they only have 3 types of cheese, and we have like 20. So they are very miserable and poor and things like that. But I didn't say that, but like, I had a lot of like, and then they asked further, and then I said like, here is a kind of joke story that my dad likes telling. So there was this era of exploration, and a lot of researchers, explorers, they came to Africa, and and of course there were also Russian explorers, and one day the Russian explorer, like he came, he sat with them, like with the Africans, with the locals, like eating food, drinking, like talking about life, whatever. And at some point, like he said, like after some time, the Africans came to me and they said, "Why are the Russians so weird?" And the Russian explorer asked, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Well, when the French come here, they look at us and say, 'Hey, are you all right? Is everything okay? Do you need everything? Do you have everything you need?' When the Brits come here, when the Dutch come here, they all ask the same questions. They're like, 'Oh, how do you do? Like, how do you make it? Like, how do you live? How's your life?' Right?" And the Russians, nah, 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 nothing. You guys just sit with us and like you, no expression of like worry about our living conditions. And the Russian was like, we're only white on the outside. You guys have food. Like, and then I told it, and then I laid my hand on the Dutch report, and I was like, not all white people are the same. And and some people like have in general worse conditions. So you come from one of the most developed places on earth to Gaza. By the way, I didn't say it that straightforward. I just kept talking about like it was implied, right? It was like very much implied. I was like, guys, you know, they have food. Lucky. There are people that don't get that. So, and I said like, what's my feeling? My feeling that's I said like it's exactly that, right? So you have the people coming from all over the world, like, oh, and not all places on earth are that lucky. It's funny. And the rest of the stories that we had with him, I'm gonna share with my friend Michelle. Exactly, I said, hold my vodka. By the way, at some point it was really, oh, I don't know if I screwed something up. Did I? Anyway, at some point it was literally hold my vodka. Because at some point they start probing more. And then I told like, listen, my parents are twice refugees, right? They escaped from the Georgian civil war to Russia and from Russia to Israel. And when I was born, in the year I was born, my parents pulled I didn't tell them that, but I said like I was born into hunger. My parents didn't know how we'd survive. They pulled recipes from Holocaust cookbooks to get by. And basically what happened was is that they sold everything they had and they just survived from miracle to miracle. One of the greatest miracles is, ironically, is because I was born, family from abroad sent aid, right? So for my birthday, for my literal birth, family from abroad sent money and things from, you know, congratulations. And it saved their lives. So, and I said, like, can you imagine, like, and I said, you know, in my in the place where my grandpa lived in Georgia, like, he had a patval, he had like basement, and he herded a bunch of cans, and everyone was making fun of him, especially my aunt. She was like, who would eat this crap? And he was like, I don't know. And he just like kept hoarding food and wine because he was making wine. And basically, like, when there was no food, everybody were eating those cans, the whole, like, not just their house, the whole like yard, and everything. When, like, everybody in the yard, like, all they did was, when they sat down drinking, this is an amazing story. So one of the neighbors was like, I want to raise a toast. And so okay, there everybody's like, okay, to Shalva, which is my grandpa. He's like, I want to say, like, and then he started like blessing him and things like that, and then everybody drinks. And by the way, before every shot in Georgian culture, they give a blessing, they talk. So, and then he said, again, I want to raise a toast, and to Shalva, again to my grandpa. And he did it like a million times, and at some point, like, why him? It's like, because without him, we wouldn't have anything to drink or to eat. It was all thanks to Shalva, so I'm gonna do it as many times as necessary. That's the thing. But, and it's like, you know, like, where was the aid? Where was the international aid when people were starving? So you see misery. I see people who get food. And honestly, they don't deserve it. Definitely deserve it way less than the Druze who are in worse conditions. They could have released it. Like, at some point, it was like, what about like getting bombed and stuff? I was like, it's their choice. It's their literal choice. They could have given up, released the hostages. Until most of the, like, if you follow Gaza feed, most civilians, like, most of them were against giving up until recently, until now. I think when it is only now when Israel started flattening the last, like, the second to last thresholds of Hamas in Gaza, did they start actually wanting to, for Hamas to maybe, like, at least have a break, like, they got that tired. But it took 2 years for the civilians to be like, oh, maybe that's enough. They literally still had it in them, right? So it's their choice, and they have food. So what? I don't understand, like, literally. And I said, like what, like, this Dutch person, right? And I said, like, and I said, like, listen, when you finally start defending your own population from rape, do you think it's gonna look pretty? And just people are, and I also said it, like, I also have to remember, like, the soldiers there, they live in the same or worse conditions, right? So whatever they will go through, the soldiers go through too. And when I talked to my brother, and he was like, "Hey, where were you at?" And I was like, "Oh, this is where I'm like, oh, that's my post. Like, this is my area in Gaza." Gaza is weird. So I said, like, "Oh my God, I get so much food. Oh my God." And he was like, I know, we were jealous. Like, it's like they're so lucky. I don't understand why people are crying like those efforts. Like they get some expensive good stuff there, like as and like it's like listen, it's like you come with the highest amount of privilege on earth. Even without war, there are it's the most privileged population on earth, okay? Do you know how people live? Yeah, I mean the bombing is not nice, but it's a choice. The choice they made. And they keep making again and again and again. That are spoiled brats on average, to be honest. Yeah, they're just it's like this. Spooky Shona, thank you for your support again. Yes, Russians take 3 generations to think like us. They look like us, but they don't think like us. Yeah. The trauma is real. By the way, there is also a scare that next year there are going to be a hunger that would affect millions in Russia. I read somewhere. So it's like, listen, like, and also with all due respect, yes, like when it rains hard, it's unpleasant. During the day, it's really hot, it's unpleasant. But it's a mild climate around here. It's not a minus 40 or plus 60 temperatures. They by the beach, right? Even if they live in a tent. Humanity lived in tents for decades, for centuries. I'm sorry, for millennia. And like all those reporters come, and first of all, their questions are stupid because they know nothing. They didn't know anything about the economy inside of Gaza and how it works. They didn't know anything about anything. And I was like, I didn't at no point with the Dutch did I say that I think like that Gazans are lucky. But for sure, like this is the kind of messaging I expected them to understand. It's like, do you understand like this mentality of coming from the Netherlands, one of the richest places on earth? Every person that lives that lives humbly would look like a miserable, sad being to the average Dutch person. And it's like, oh, they're so miserable. No, you are just pampered. Not listen. Driving a Ford, it doesn't mean they're miserable creatures just because they don't all drive Ferraris. You know? Like the mindset is like all right. Come on, don't pressure the Dutch person to give money. They're the cheapest people on earth. We already established that as an axiom. I'm actually thank you, some dude, for convincing me to actually say everything and like not to be shy about the truth and reality about the Dutch people in my little special that I've made for them. So thank you. Yeah, I think they are the probably maybe the cheapest people I've ever heard of. Andrew Graham, a Jew calling people cheap. I don't know. Did the Jews ever made people buy their own tickets to the train to extermination, sir? Because the Dutch did. The Dutch stink from cheapness. Harbin Gen Zero. I mean, I said Ford. I understand there is a lot of Fords. I meant like an old Taranta kind of Ford, But it works, maybe. I agree. I agree. Was ashamed of her. All right, you guys. Think Is there any kind of something in the news that I need really to comment on? Because I don't know until Hamas comes back with an answer. Looks like I think people need to be ready to. Rebecca, it's in our Talmud to donate and give charity. Come on. Listen, listen, listen. To me, right now, it's more important to prove that the Dutch are the cheapest people in the world, not to clear the Jewish name. And like, I choose my fight, okay? My fight right now is to shit on Dutch people and to say that they are literally the cheapest people on earth. Yeah, Bibi and Trump. Is there anything I like? Did anyone here did not watch? Oh, I see. When the Jews are wise with money, they're cheap. When the Dutch are stinking and awful and disgusting in the way they manage money, they're wise. Andrew, you're an asshole. I don't know what you're doing here. Um, so Bibi and Trump. Why did the Lord bless the Dutch with richness? Mm, because they had a very strong Jewish community in Amsterdam that made them rich. Everything is basically writing Philips, Jews, the banking system, that like everything that made the Deutschland, the diamond industry, Jews, everything Jews. Then they took it from the Jews, and the funny thing is that they're a lot less rich now because when the Jews were managing the stuff, it was way more money. Yeah, so they're not wise; they're just disgusting. Sorry, no offense. I'm not cheap as a Dutchman. Thank you, Michael. Thank you. Finally, some Dutch person who is trying to defend their honor and not just let people rape their daughters and their personalities. You know. You're right. Banking was English. I just lost the word. It's not the banking. It's the like the bolsa. I don't know. I forgot English. You know the whatever. Forgot the word. Um. Yeah, stock market. Thank you. Anyway, yeah, right. Well, if you were more specific, banking was Scottish and Jewish, but I think he meant that it was in England. All right, everybody. I think banking was started by the Dutch. It started by the Jews. The Dutch helped, let's be honest here. Let's not give any credit to the Dutch because the Dutch suck. This is something that the more I spoke about the Dutch, the more resentment I had accumulated. Especially like I can, in honesty, like all of Europeans are like that. The French suck too. Hmm. Yeah. Well, claim the Jews and Scots. Yeah, I don't care honestly. It's like I feel like we should the Jews in general should do speeches like Trump. It's like we did this and did that. Did we get any credit for it? No. Did they say thank you? No. They just persecute us. I just cannot do a good Trump impression. But imagine a Trump speech, but just the Jews, like Jews talking about Jewish achievements and everything. All the credit that was taken away from Jews. That would be a very, very, very long speech, honestly. That's funny. Yeah, crying. Ay. Yeah, so even the Jesus, right? It's like even that, like the Christians are so stinky. They even with that they struggle to give Jews credit. We do all the work. We save the world. Do we get any recognition for it? No, we don't. If we don't say what we do, then nobody's gonna say it, unfortunately. But we work so hard, so hard, so hard. And like there, and I do something. No. All right, everybody. I think I think there is just a lot of crap that I honestly don't care about. Until there is something that is moving on the ground. I think it's not that interesting. And honestly, maybe the most interesting thing right now is that I see Israelis talk about is the fact that Greta Thunberg is supposed to arrive tomorrow. Why do they do it? First, they do the bullshit "I recognize Palestine" speech on Rosh Hashanah. Then the flotilla is scheduled for Yom Kippur. And guys, why be so disrespectful? Happy Yom Kippur. Well, you don't. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Happy Yom Kippur is an interesting. גמר חטיבה טובה. May all your names be signed in the book of life this year, so that you may live and we can complain next year as well. And I'm actually making a very special video for you, so that I'm gonna finish editing right now, because I need to get it up in the channel before Yom Kippur starts. And it's meditation and prayer. It's very different from the usual style, so watch it anyway, okay? Because you like me. All right, so everybody here, raise your hand and say, I'm gonna watch the meditation video that Rebecca is gonna upload. Thank you. All right, everybody. Good night.